So my my question, no, I do have a question for y'all actually, and I start with you once is just because. Just give me like one thing, like when you and I, this might be a little bit difficult, but give me one thing that you look for when it comes to a movie. Like, what's that one thing you're like, you know what? This is what when I'm watching a movie, this is the thing that could kind of boom, it could grab me, and that's what locked me in, like a trait. If you could think of one, and if it's more than one, that's fine.
I mean, like a type of movie, or specifically like
We
something
can
in the
talk.
movie has.
Like, what's the thing that kind of draws you in the most in the movie, or what you? Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, it's hard to say off the top of my head, but I would
yeah.
say I always enjoy good writing. Obviously for obvious reasons.
Mm.
Good writing draws me in. I love heist movies.
Okay.
Heist movies draw me in too. But I don't have nothing specific that because I'm a jack of all trades type of person, so I like a, a variety of different type of you know um movies and activities. So for me, I'm pretty easy going as long as it's not too cheesy. I can tell you a whole bunch of things I don't like. If it's too cheesy,
Yeah.
if it's too gory for no reason, I don't like that. Things that leaves a distasteful taste in my mouth.
Mm.
Uh, violence for no reason as well. So for me,
Okay.
things has to make sense. I don't care what type of movie it is. If it's a slow burner, like a cowboy spaghetti western,
Mm.
or if it's a sci-fi, cyberpunk, whatever.
Yeah. All right, Jeff. So what about you? Like, is there like any particular like trait that you because one like did something which I kind of figured you was gonna do, which was it's easy for you to say what you don't like about a movie, more so than there's okay, dang, like this that one thing that I'm like, okay, bam, this is what draws me into a movie. I do have an answer. That's and I actually thought about it, so it's a little bit unfair. So, and I'll say mine in a second, but I'm curious to see what Jeff said because I think what you said, one also makes sense, right? It's kind of you could sit back and be like, and what you said can't like something that's too cheesy, right? That's why you don't like a lot of comedies. Like certain comedies you just don't like when it's too just. And I don't think you dislike campy styles. It's just like if it's campy without it's knowing that it's being campy. That's when it's like when it's campy and it takes itself too serious. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's another thing that you probably don't that you won't like. If I and I'm pretty sure I kind of got that on the head. And Jeff, what about you? Like, is there anything particular that you like? You look at him like, you know what? I love these things or this thing about a movie. Like this is what I look for.
Yeah. Beats. Beats is something that I look for in movies because what are you saying? It's what you are saying when you're not saying anything. A character says something to another character and they pause and then their expression changes. Even with serial killers, same thing. Something ticks them off. They're quiet, expression changes. They discover something, characters discover something, and now they're canvassing the whole area. What do you say in those moments of silence when you're not saying anything? I think that, and knowing when to take a beat as well, because it's not always written in a script when actors are performing. So knowing when to take a beat and why you're taking a beat, for me, takes the story to another level. Um, so I always look for that if I'm watching a movie, and that really draws me in when I see an actor knowing when to do that. I don't know if a lot of people pay attention to that, and maybe they don't. It's not that they don't subconsciously pay attention to it, but if you think about it, whenever
Oh,
you're
this
watching,
messed up. Yeah, like oh, this now I can see what you said. This was awful. I didn't like this because you can't put your finger on why you didn't like it, but it could have been because like you said, the beats. When you first mentioned it, and I'll let you finish. When you first mentioned it, I'm like, man, what is this man talking about? Beats. And then you start to explain, I'm like, oh, okay. I get it now. So go ahead though.
yeah, no, that's basically it. It's just I kind of, if anyone's out there listening to it, well, they are listening. Those of you that are listening, I challenge you when you watch a movie to try to notice those beats and those moments that you get drawn in. Did a beat just happen when you're watching that movie? 95% of the time, that's what happened. That's why you're like, you can. It's almost like and I can tell also because if I'm watching a movie in a theater or if it's a film that I did and I can feel the silence, there's because a good beat was taken. Everyone's just drawn in. So,
man, hold on, man. So how don't you like John Wick? I just don't understand it. You set up here with this whole spiel, and I'm like, and I kept thinking of how this man don't like John Wick because it literally captures what you just like what you said.
first of all, he takes too many,
Oh my god!
and he for some reason takes them at the. He needs to go back to acting school.
Want mute him?
Oh shit! I'm talking like Idris Elba.
Hey, go ahead. So it's one thing particular that I look for when it comes to movies. What would draw me in is I just realized this, it's characters. And I'm not talking about, like the person that's playing them. I'm not talking about whether or not they're great actors or actresses. It's 100%. And I'm like, because a movie could not have an elaborate plot, but if I like the way they told that particular character story, like, that's what draws me in. And because like you want, I kind of like I watch literally everything. Like anything from, you mentioned spaghetti westerns, I probably never seen one, but anything from like spaghetti westerns to romantic comedies. And one of the things I love the most is characters. Like and I know TV can do it a lot better because you have seasons.
But for me, it's hard for me not to look at it from a writer's perspective. So for me, I do pay attention to the dialogue and stuff like that. But if it's very poor, it does pop out to me. But so if it's, for me, I guess again, it's going back to the negative. Like when things are very bad, that's when it disemerges me. So we'll see with the Matrix.
The thing is, it's hard to have me like turn off a movie. It would take me a long time to watch a particular movie, even if it's good. And I'm gonna tell you, Christopher Nolan, this dude to me can do no wrong, right? Like this dude he up there with Quentin Tarantino, where it's like no matter what they make, the movie is good. The problem is, I also don't understand what the heck this dude be talking about. I just watched Tenet, and after I was done, I'm like, man, this movie is good, but I have no idea what it was about. Like none. I just know that I watched a really good movie with a super complex plot that was more of a psychological action movie as it was, just that, like, an action movie. Now, I get the gist of it. Like I know I don't want to spoil anything for you, Juan, because I imagine you're probably gonna watch it, given that you're a Christopher Nolan guy, and so I don't want to spoil anything. But I sat back and I'm like, man, like
Which movie?
Like Tenet, the one with
okay.
John David and Robert Pattinson, and I forgot who else. The 6
I
foot
love
chick.
Christopher Nolan movies.
Yeah,
I love it.
Like this,
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
See, but the thing is, his movie you have to watch it more than once though.
More than once,
exactly.
exactly.
One thing he likes to do as a director is he likes to set up his clues early on, and he'll put it right in your face. Every single movie you can go back, and he'll put the clues right in your face, but you won't know it until the end. So then you have to watch it a second time, and then you'll start picking up all the clues and the way his style. So it's like that's why some people don't like his style, because he could be a little bit complicated and super subliminal
Bro, this dude is wacky, bro. Like I don't know what he be on.
So, but his movies you just gotta watch him more than once. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's annoying. It took me like 3 days to watch Tenet because I had to pause and think and did like timing and stuff too. It was like, bro, like it was insane. So Jeff, have you seen Tenet? Just out of curiosity, I'm just curious.
Nope. It looked boring.
It's not boring. It's complex to take, but it's not boring. Like I said, like for me, I don't look for like the most super, because his plots are extremely elaborate, extremely complex, extremely deep, and I don't have to have all of that for a particular movie. Like I think for you, Juan, like you just said, it's easier for you to say what you don't like than what you do like. And it's like, for me, likewise, I can tell you like certain things that I do not like, but I'm generally speaking, I'm not as harsh as like 3 people I know that watch, and I said this before, that watch movies extremely harsh are you, Juan, Jeffrey, and Miles. Like y'all 3 watch movies like way with too much of a keen eye. And I'm like, man, I need to be submerged into the movie. And and it's the funny thing is, Jeff, like like you love movies that a lot of people probably didn't love. So that's why like you confuse me. Like I still don't understand how you don't like John Wick. Like that is beyond me. Like, I just don't get how you don't like John Wick. I just don't get. I can't get over it. And I guess I have to.
If you don't like good acting, you like John Wick.
That's a lie.
I'm just
that is such a lie. You can't say
John Wick has nothing to do with acting at all.
He just alienated half of our listeners. So 2.5 of our listeners, he just alienated, and one of the freaking co-hosts. Think two of the co-hosts, because we both love John Wick. Two of the co-hosts you just alienated.
Wait, you think John Wick sucks?
I think John Wick is just I can put it in the same category as the Expendables. It's just a movie with action scenes in it.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, though.
Do y'all like
nothing? Yeah. No, I mean, for me, I look, when it comes to action movies, sometimes I don't mind turning off my brain and just watching the movie. Things blow up.
That's what John Wick is. You turn your brain off.
No, it's not. It's not that bad.
I mean, it's an action movie, so I mean, at the same time, it's not. It's not going to be some complex story. See if it gets too complex.
Action movies.
Wait, though, but that's the thing, though.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's the best
character. But that's the thing about John Wick. What makes it great is the fact that the story is simple, right? And the way they execute it, they don't miss a beat. No pun intended. Like they don't miss a beat, and they dive deep into the character, and they dive deep into that world. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we love it. So Jeff, to your point, if you
I don't care if John Wick lives or dies, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you don't count though.
See, but I mean, one thing I would agree with Jeff, and I guess, but I don't think it has to do with acting. Look, Keanu Reeves sure is limited as an actor. I agree with that.
Thank you, Juan.
Nobody disagree with that.
And I would agree
but you would never admit that. He admitted that on the airway.
And I would agree that Keanu Reeves, what this movie proves, that Keanu Reeves alone is not a box office draw like a lot of big time actors. But I would say this though, just because he's not a draw doesn't mean he's a bad actor, or just because he's not versatile, he's a bad actor. Will Smith has a lot of flops. I wouldn't say he's a bad actor. He's also Will Smith. Huh?
He wanted to ghost though. He shows versatility though, and I think to your point, it's not about versatility. Like some people,
he has a lot of flops though.
So. Yeah, flops. It's what it is, man. It's like it's like a lyricist who's a really good actor. Who's a really good rapper who just can't sell a lot of albums. Will Smith would be like Nas. Nas don't go platinum, but I dare you to say he's not a great artist.
Will Smith takes on the wrong movies.
That's what I would say. I was gonna say they took it right out of my mouth. Will Smith had poor judgment, I would say.
He does. He takes on the wrong movies and he declines the wrong movies.
Yep.
He has a bad agent. That's what it sounds like.
His agent is him.
He declined The Matrix Part 1. So imagine that. So
he said he don't think he would have did the same as good a job as Keanu Reeves did. Shut up, Jeff.
That's BS.
So I agree with that. He's just different. He's just different.
He's different, yeah. But it's funny you said something about The Matrix, and then we'll close out the show with this. The Matrix also thought that it could rely on the fact that it was a Matrix to make money. Don't get me wrong, they did.
Yeah, in the fan base.
They did go out and they advertised, they marketed, they did it, but it don't work like that anymore. Like the box office has changed, bro. Like it has changed. It became a superhero box office, but you have to do something extra in order to take that movie, like The Matrix, because it is a pastime. Like it's like, you know what? I'm not a pastime. I'm sorry. It is like historically great. You have to reintroduce a whole new fan base to it by giving them something unique. And according to Jeffrey,
that's what they felt flat. They thought they could rely simply on the fan base, and the hardcore Matrix fans believe that that this movie will come back and make 100, 200, 300 million based on the family, and that they severely overestimated that. And the fact that they try to remake The Matrix 1, which is impossible to do because The Matrix 1 is obviously historical movie,
Yeah,
but at the
literally
same
changed Hollywood.
but at the same time, the way it's created, you can't do it again because him discovering, what is the Matrix. So that's why part 2 and part 3 feel so different because he already knows.
Knows.
It's basically like that new genre that I was telling you, Mike, about the lit RPG genre. This new genre coming out.
Yeah. I heard people
based
talking about
on the anime sword art. Basically, that's what created a whole book genre. And they have the similar rules to the Matrix, where you have to be in the game and play the game. And basically, like, the Matrix will have his own specific rules that you cannot replicate again because he cannot not know. And that's what they try to do again.
Yeah.
So I think, to your point, they had to bring something new, a creative idea. So I would try to do something super creative and without perverting what happened already.
Yep.
You know something else? They're all old. Not everybody can be Tom Cruise.
That is not, and
making films that are action, and he's not in shape.
That is true, which is odd for you to say. Like, honestly, like, it's kind of weird to hear you say that. Like, it really does, because we've seen, we all seen him, train for John Wick. So it's like, so to hear you say, like, you watched it, like, it just, something didn't feel right when you watched him, as opposed to when you watch him in the Matrix, 1. And like you said, like, that lack of uniqueness. And then, what Juan said, like, the fact that, and you detail something that I didn't even think about, which is, what made it great is him trying to learn the Matrix, him trying to know and understand and learn the Matrix. Then we already saw him know and understand and conquer the Matrix. So then now what do you do? And obviously they did figure that out. But what I figured out is it's time for us to go. So we can wrap this up like a BTA's commercial and say, peace. Until next time, people.
Until next time, lovely people, we are terribly sorry that we left you hanging for so long. I miss y'all.
That was Jeffrey's fault.
Dang, blame the black guy.
So, all right, y'all. Peace. Right. We out.
I don't think Jeff's part came out, by the way. I think I paused it.